Let's get it. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. This is SEC and South Carolina live here at the Voice of College Football. I am your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Thank you all for joining us on what a very, very fun episode for you today. It's our third edition of the SEC and South Carolina Live Call-In Show, where we take your calls, where we take your takes on all the latest that's coming on around the game of college football, around the SEC, and we discuss that and a lot more as we get started for what should be a very, very fun show for you today. So do us a favor. I'm about to post a link in the comment section below. Boom. Use that link in the SEC and South Carolina group and chat. Join that link if you want to be a part of the show, or if you want to just do us a favor and call in. 225-892-2384, 225-892-2384. And before we continue on any further with the show, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's hear a word from our good friend Mark Rogers about our good friends over at Amazon.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
You know what's funny is that I literally left my phone in my car. So let me go ahead and grab my phone. Let me go get that set up. We'll be back in just a minute, okay?
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what.
All right. We got the phone line set up. 225-892-2384. 225-892-2384. So use that link in the comment section. Either that or call in to the show. 225-892-2384. Give me a minute, guys. I got to catch my breath. I literally ran out to my car to go get my cell phone so that we can get this little live stream started. You know what I mean? Better late than never, is what I always say. So, but we got a lot to break down today. Take your calls, obviously. Hey, take your comments, take your concerns. Babe, I'm tired. I'm tired. But, yeah, guys, we got a lot to discuss on today's show. So make sure y'all bring in those questions, bring in those comments, whatever you have that concerns you, whether it be around South Carolina, whether it be around the SEC. We're here to answer all of your questions, comments, and concerns. So one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about recently around college football was today. You had Tank Jones that just committed to the University of Oregon, the number one edge rusher who is fighting between the University of Oregon, Alabama, and I think Texas A&M as well. he ended up ultimately choosing the Oregon Ducks as home, which I think, honestly, if you're Eugene and if you're Dan Lanning, I mean, that's a hell of a grab. That's a really big time get at the end of the day. That's a really, really impressive way to get guys like that and to be able to keep and to go out into blue blood states like Alabama, like your Mississippis, like your Louisianas, more like the South just in general, and to stay and get those athletes that you need to continue to build this next class, which I think a lot of people need to pay attention to at the end of the day. So really, really good job by Dan Lanning and their NIL department. Obviously, that Phil Knight money is real. That Phil Knight money is legit, guys. Because you talk about the job that Oregon's done with their recruiting class as of late. I mean, you look at what they did last year, flipping a couple guys, and just the amount of work that has been done for Dan Lanning and company to nab a lot of these top recruits, keep them outside of the typical blue bloods, and just have them venture out elsewhere, guys. I mean, that's ultimately what you've been wanting to do as a whole. It's impressive to me that you built this sort of system and this sort of legacy as Oregon Ducks personnel and all that you're going to see in the near future when it comes to Oregon football. So very impressive job from what Dan Lanning and company have been able to do over the last several years. Really, really impressive at the end of the day. So definitely one that you could consider to be a late bloomer, a guy that I looked at his film, elite edge presence, a guy that I think can really dominate any major program at the end of the day, guys. Really, really impressive stuff that we've been seeing from that guy, from Tank Jones. Tank Jones is going to be a dog. He's going to be a really, really dominant fixture for that program at the end of the day. And I'm not going to say that he's like Kayvon Thibodeau, but when you talk about the amount of talent that comes out from the Oregon Ducks and what you've been able to do with that recruiting class, it's impressive. But that's not to say that there is nothing wrong for Alabama. And, you know, one of our good friends from Sidelines, Alabama, in fact, texted this out or really tweeted this out. And he said that for those of you that are saying that it's the biggest whiff in Alabama recruiting history after what was likely a complete bidding war is just a little overdramatic. I agree. I mean, but knowing the current landscape of college football, this kid will very likely enter the portal. I don't know how much longer he's going to be there, depending on what the future of Oregon's recruiting class looks like, the future of where he's going to be at the end of the day. So we'll see, man. I mean, there's just so much what if when it comes to a talent like that comes into a program like Oregon, where there's so many high expectations. Look, Oregon's done a great job of developing top-tier defensive linemen. Now, is their time over for that? No, I don't think so. You've been able to put out first-round defensive linemen year in and year out. Everybody just looks at Kayvon Thibodeau, and everybody expects him to be this next great thing. Look, I covered when Kayvon Thibodeau came out of high school in 2019. I've never seen a guy with that much moxie and that much hype around a defensive lineman in quite some time. And I think it's obvious why there's so much hype around him. It's because of what type of athlete that he was at the time being. And people are going to say, well, maybe things will be different. Maybe things maybe things will be different now that you have new personnel and new coaching staff in there. No, I think the same old expectations are going to continue. No question in my mind that it's going to continue. And if you think it doesn't, I mean, guys, why wouldn't it be? This is Oregon we're talking about, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, if let's just be real, this is a damn good legacy that Oregon is continuing to build itself upon. Now, if you're Texas A&M and you're Alabama, I mean, for Alabama, I mean, I wouldn't say you missed out on a guy, but again, like we mentioned, it was a bidding war. And Oregon came out with all the punches, and they had more money. They had more revenue. That's the bottom line whenever it comes to a program like that, when it comes to what you've been able to do to develop at that high of a level. And so you don't really have much else that you can say other than you missed out on them. You missed out on an opportunity to continue to develop guys in the state of Alabama, but I don't think that it should be cause for concern. But I do think it should be cause for, this is where we're at right now, and this is where we're going to continue to develop. This is where we're going to continue to hopefully build upon our program at the end of the day. So whether you like it or not, guys, this is where the state of college football is at. So more recruiting news around the SEC. One of the top athletes in the country, Salesi Moa, the number 4 athlete in the nation according to 247, the 5-star according to 247's composite, just committed to Tennessee. It's a massive win because I thought he was going to stay around that West Coast. I thought it was going to be either Washington or Utah. Then Tennessee came in and made a great push at the end of the day to get the number 1 player in the state of Utah, one of the most versatile athletes in the country. And the guy's going to work out. He's probably going to play wide receiver at the next level, but he's just so fast off the edge. He's really a burner when it comes to where he's been at and how he's developed at the level that he has been at. And I think it's going to continue to showcase at the next level when it comes to where Tennessee is at in developing their guys. Tennessee's been a damn good program when it comes to developing top-tier talent. You know, we couldn't do this live show without our McDonald's, you know what I mean? But I think also when it comes to where Tennessee's been at with recruiting, that 26 class is special. Tennessee's done a great job with recruiting at a high level. And I think it goes to show just the amount of impressive things we've seen from Josh Heupel and company. I mean, already, everyone knows about Faison Brandon. Everybody knows about Gabe Osenda from the Baylor school. But then there's these little dark horse commits like guys like Joel Wyatt, one of the top athletes in the nation. You talk about what happened today with Salesi Moa. August is going to be an interesting month, too, for Tennessee because they're going to have a lot of big-time commits that are supposed to develop at a high level, and they're supposed to be committing pretty soon as they go into their senior year of high school. So really interested to see where the future of Tennessee's recruiting class is going to be, because it's going to be very bright in the near future. I really like what Tennessee's going to offer at the end of the day. I mean, when you look at the market too for Tennessee, it's impressive to me just to see the type of job that a guy like Josh Heupel has done with developing young talent, putting them into this offense where you can recruit at a high level, where you can really, really continue to see eye-popping numbers, where you continue to see NFL type talent come through. So really impressive to see what they've been able to do. And I'm really excited to see what happens at the end of the day. Okay. So I do want to get on to the big news that just broke about 5 months ago, or 5 minutes ago, actually. This is from our good buddy Pete Nakos over at On3, that Shane Beamer tells South Carolina reporters today that Rasul Faison continues to wait on an answer from the NCAA. Now, I'm not surprised about this, that this is the case. This is stupid. That it's just been so dumb why this has gone on for way too long. This is a joke. And what South Carolina has done just to try to get Faison back on the field, it's not helping. I don't know what you have to do to get a guy like that. And we mentioned it on yesterday's show about when we talked to our good friend Philip Chang, excuse me. We talked about what type of future is going to be held for a guy like Rasul Faison. We talked about what the ruling could be, how he could potentially get a restraining order against the NCAA, about how ridiculous this has become, about how stupid it has been for a organization like to hold out that's just wanting to play, where his clock didn't start until 2020 and got the double red shirt. So realistically, he does have an extra year. There's no question in my mind why he shouldn't be out on the field playing. And it's ridiculous to the point where this kid is having to wait to try and get on the field. It's ridiculous. So I really don't understand it, guys. I really don't. Phone lines are open, by the way, 225-892-2384, 225-892-2384. You can call in there if you want to join in the show. The link is in the chat as well. But anyways, one of the things that we've seen from the NCAA is that we've talked about how this could end up being a Pavia ruling, and how it's a likely scenario where we could potentially get a guy like Faison, potentially a waiver or a restraining order against the NCAA that could potentially get him eligible for the upcoming season, where it could be very likely that you see at the end of the day get more availability and get more opportunity to get on the field. Because if you get that restraining order or something, I think it's a restraining order, or it's some other legal term that you could get against the NCAA to get them off your back so that you are able to get on the field. That's the number one thing that you have been striving to do if you're South Carolina. Just get the monkey off of Rasul Faison's back so that he can see the field, because that's essentially what the NCAA has become. And if we're being real, it's not going to get off until a decision is officially made, which is ridiculous. It is so stupid that this has been a major thing. It is so stupid that you have consistently shown your bias, shown your, excuse my French, you've shown your ass to the world. But that's been the NCAA for a while, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Call into the show if you want. Join in the link, whether you do it from there or call into the show, 225-892-2384, 225-892-2384. But yeah, man, that's going to be the NCAA for the next couple of years for you, man. And it's ridiculous. It really is. So all you can do if you're a South Carolina fan, pray for Sewell. Continue to use your hashtag free Sewells, man. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So I do want to go ahead and talk about some early games around the NCAA. Week 1 games. Let's preview a little bit of week 1 around the SEC. We're in the final month of July. And today is the first day of football every week until we get to the month of February, which is going to be awesome. We got high school football coming back up in a couple weeks, so we'll be breaking down the Buford. And we got a couple of high school home matchups where they have, I think, 50 top 300 prospects according to the NCAA. And guys, it's going to be a lot of fun with previewing some of those games, looking at some of the recruits that are going to be on there. It's going to be a lot of fun getting to watch those games, getting to see some of the top recruits in the nation go compete and battle it out. I think Mater Dei is playing, I want to say, St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida, but I don't think that is the case. But it should be a lot of fun. I am really intrigued to see what Mater Dei does this year. I think they're still the best team in all of high school football. But yeah, man, we're really excited for high school football back on ESPN. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's really, really, I can't believe we're this close already to college football. Okay, so kickoff is going to feature 28 players ranked in the ESPN 300 and Junior 300, 7 top 25 nationally ranked teams, including 5 in the top 10. So this next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, I believe, it'll be Carrollton against Woodward Academy. So it'll be, no, this is from last year, excuse me. But I do want to see some high school football, man. I mean, there's nothing better than it, man. I mean, I really love high school football, just getting to see some of the top recruits battle it out, man. There's always a lot that you're getting excited for in the next few weeks. But there's a lot that you're going to continue to showcase on the next few weeks as we go further and further into the college football season. I'm really excited for this high school season, guys. You know, especially in the state of Louisiana where it just feels like it's so much more wide open this year, where a lot of high school football games are going to be tighter. They're going to be closer. You're going to have a lot more blue bloods that are out there. Little things like that is going to make a huge impact at the end of the day for high school recruiting. So I'm really intrigued to see where the future of this one is going to be at. So we're really excited for, man. We're really, really, really excited. Yeah, I think STA is playing Mater Dei on the opening game. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that one. That's going to be a really freaking good game. Going to be a really damn good game. But again, phone lines are open, 225-892-2384, 225-892-2384, or you can join in the StreamYard down in the comments section. All right, let's preview some early games that are going to go on around the SEC, some games that you need to look out for. First of all, I think this is a game that a lot of people aren't really paying attention to, and I think it should take note as to how important this is for Jeff Lebby going into his second year. And that's going to Hattiesburg, Mississippi to play Charles Huff and the Southern Miss Eagles. Let's say Mississippi State loses that game. And they're 13.5-point favorites, guys. Let's say they lose that game. The future of Jeff Lebby is not looking good. And I talked to our good friend David Schultz over at Locked on Sunbelt already about this. The fact of the matter is that you have a program right now in Mississippi State that is, if we're being completely honest, beyond recognizable. They're not even close to where they were in the earlier years with Jeff Lebby, or not with Jeff Lebby, but with Mike Leach and company. I would even say with a coach like Mike Leach or even Zach Arnett, at least you saw some signs of life. It wasn't all pretty, but at least your defense wasn't one of the worst in the SEC. You were a balanced team. You had athletes. Now that you have all this going on, there's no way that I can get behind where Jeff Lebby is at right now. And I gave him grace. I didn't rank him as my worst head coach in the country. I only ranked him just 15th compared to where Mark Stoops is at. I think Mark Stoops is dead in the water, by the way. We'll see if Kentucky's going to pull the trigger and take a $30+ million buyout and take a chance on that. But it's not looking good, guys. It's really not. And the fact of the matter is that if you're going to continue to put your trust in a coach like that, you have a lot of balls. You have a lot of balls to do something like that. If you keep him around for 2026, let's say you do lose to Southern Miss, 13-point favorites. But even if Southern Miss covers, but yet they don't win the game, it's still going to showcase where Mississippi State has to go from here. They're a disaster right now as a program. They really are. Because you go to Southern Miss and you play 4 schools that were in the college football playoff last year. Arizona State, Tennessee, Texas, Georgia. And those that were even on the bubble like Ole Miss and I wouldn't really say A&M. Well, teams that were at one point in contention for a CFP like Ole Miss, Missouri, and Texas A&M. This is one of the hardest schedules in all of college football. I think Phil Steele has them second right now. I'm hoping our guy, Brett Sianka, wants to join the show and talk some ball about this because this is one where I've been really intrigued to get his thoughts on. But let's say Charlie Huff gets an opening statement win and sets the tone for what's to expect in Hattiesburg. This would be an all-time low for Mississippi State. And it showcased, I think this would be lower than where you were after you lost to South Alabama. Because you were downright just awful after you lost to South Alabama that same year. It was a disaster of a program, and it was a disaster of a team from where you are at the end of the day, guys. I mean, it's just really, really bad. We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, you have dudes. Isaac Smith is an incredible talent that I think a lot of people need to start paying attention to. You obviously have a lot of programs that have – he could have went elsewhere, by the way. He could have went to another big-time school because Isaac Smith is a freaking dog. He's a headhunter that a lot of people aren't going to know about. Blake Shapen could have left. Got injured, but decided to stay in the Jeff Lebby system. It shows you the trust that is there for Mississippi State. And the trust that is going to continue to stay there. Hopefully. You would think it would. You would expect that it would. Will it? I don't know, man. We'll see. But I think that's definitely a game that you need to look out for. 11 a.m. on ESPN. But yeah, man, that's going to be a tight game. I don't know how close that one's going to be. I think that's one might be just under a 10-point spread if I'm a realistic odds maker in that one. Syracuse at Tennessee at Mercedes-Benz for the Aflac kickoff game. Let's say Tennessee drops that one. What does their future look like? Tennessee's still in it. They would probably go 8-4 on the year. I don't see them losing, or I don't see them beating Florida. I don't see them beating Bama. I don't see them beating Tennessee or Georgia. Excuse me. I think realistically, though, we'll find the ceiling that is for the Tennessee Volunteers, man. This year is definitely going to be one. Do I think they'll come out with the win? It's a 14-point spread for Tennessee. Syracuse lost a lot from last year, and the amount of talent that you got from last year, I don't know. I don't think it'll get any better. But anything is definitely possible, guys. Anything is absolutely possible when it comes to where Syracuse and Tennessee are at right now. Because, look, I love Fran Brown. I think he's one of the realest coaches in college football. Do I consider seeing an upset alert on that one? Yes, because I know Fran Brown and I know how he runs a program. What do I think it'll happen? Probably not. That's just my honest opinion. You may think different, but I mean, from a realistic standpoint, I don't know if it will happen. I don't know if I can see it happening because there's just so much that this program lost from last year. A lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of talent at quarterback. You got a young quarterback, man, whether it be Ricky Collins starting, doesn't have a lot of experience, but did sit behind Garrett Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels. So maybe that's a benefit for him, but we'll see. I mean, Tennessee's going to come out there with a lot of firepower. I think you're still good on the offensive side of the ball. I think you'll pull out a win at the end of the day. Let's talk about Alabama and Florida State. Thomas Castellanos is talking, man. That's all I got to say. The line right now is only 13.5 for Alabama. I'm surprised it's not a wider line compared to Tennessee and Syracuse, which is incredible to me. But I think, too, at the end of the day, I mean, the amount of garbage that Syracuse or that Thomas Castellanos has talked over the last couple of weeks is funny to me. Yeah, I don't see any chance that Florida State gets within 2 possessions. There's no question that is going to consider happening at the end of the day when it comes to where South Carolina or where Florida State is at for the next couple of years. You think Gus Malzahn is going to come in here and lead this offense? I know Gus Malzahn has plenty of experience against Bama, but I'm not going to get here and say that they're going to beat Alabama week 1. They're not. You'd be ludicrous and think that a team like Florida State that's talked so much shit over the last several weeks, the fact that they think that they have an opportunity to beat Bama, and I love Xavier Lowell Hill. Florida State's beating Bama, and I'm going to be a Rhodes Scholar with a 4.0 GPA. I'm not. And I'm 21 years old, and I'm about to go to a freaking Ivy League school with my 2.5 GPA that I have. But Xavier, you know I have South Carolina beating Bama. And we'll discuss that with our guy, Dalton from Inside Carolina. So I would stay tuned for that one. Just saying. But the fact that Thomas Castellanos has the audacity to come out and say all of that. Meanwhile, I mean, what is this, fighting words for Bama? Look out Tim Keenan. Look out Deontay Lawson. Thank you, Xavier. I'm glad you agree with me. But the fact of the matter is, guys, Florida State had one good year, really two with Jordan Travis. You haven't been able to recruit at a high level. You were way too. You had one great year and you got in over your head. You got humbled last year and went 2-10. This year for Florida State, I just don't see a lot that's going to be expected. Mike Norvell is probably going to be gone within a year. And Mike Norvell is going to be known as one of those coaches that had a great rise whenever he was in the G5, but just couldn't get it done at the P4 level, guys. That's just my opinion. And I think that that's a fair assessment of where Mike Norvell is at this point in time. So, whether you like it or not, that's the truth. Like they say in court, do you promise to speak the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth? They say a lot of truths in there, and then you say, I do. I do. So, that's my opinion, guys. And whether you like it or not, that's just basically what you got. Toledo at Kentucky. Boy, you better be ready for this one, guys. By the way, call in with your opinions and your SEC opinions or South Carolina opinions. 225-892-2384. Or join the link in the StreamYard that is posted in the comments section, I think. Yeah, in the comments section. So it's right here for South Carolina. It's right there for SEC. It's right there on Twitter, too. So just saying. Kentucky and Toledo. I like Jason Candle. I've talked with a Toledo beat writer that is very high on Jason Candle. And Jason Candle and me has been one of the best G5 coaches over the last 3 years. The fact that Jason Candle has not had a P4 job is incredible to me because he's just done an amazing job with the Rockets, guys. Even from 22, 23, and 24, the way he's helped develop a program like Toledo and bring them back to relevancy is incredible. I take 23, for example, where you had guys like DeQuan Finn, who absolutely popped off, was one of the best offensive players in the country. You had a guy like, obviously, Quinyon Mitchell. You had guys like Dallas Gant, who's one of the best linebackers in the MAC at one point. Their running back. Who was their running back, by the way? I done forgot who the running back was at Toledo. But 25 is going to be a very good year for Toledo. If Toledo goes out and beats Kentucky in their first game, that can tell you where Mark Stoops' seat is at because it's very hot. And look, nothing but respect to Ari and Andy on 3. But I don't even know if they have him on the hot seat, guys. That's what's kind of confusing me is that why is the hot seat not hot enough for a guy like what's his name? Like Mark Stoops. And I know you're probably going to say, well, it's because he's going through all this and he's got a lot that you have to consider. Oh, he hasn't had very high expectations. He's done this, and that. But guys, I'm not really worried about that, guys. Yeah, he's not even on the list of the college coaches that have the most pressure in 25. I'll show you the list right now. Bam. Brent Venables, Hugh Freeze, Billy Napier, Lincoln Riley, Mike Norvell, Brian Kelly, Kalen DeBoer. Now, I wouldn't put Kalen DeBoer on there. James Franklin, Mike Loxley, and Luke Fickle. Well, the reason why you put Luke Fickle on there is because you paid him a crap ton of money. After 2 5-7 seasons, I think. That was ridiculous that Wisconsin even did that. You extended a guy after you went 5-7 in your second year. Your first year, you went 7-6, which isn't all that impressive. Let's just be real. The fact that Luke Fickell is even still at Wisconsin is beyond me. Why didn't you hire Jim Leonard? What was wrong with Jim Leonard? The fact that Jim Leonard isn't even a head coach in college football blows my mind. Jim Leonard's a hell of a guy. He's a hell of an offensive, defensive-minded coach. And you never hired him. So that's on you guys. That's on Wisconsin at the end of the day. So nobody else to blame but him. But back to Mark Stoops for a minute. He's going through a divorce. I think they're in the end stages of it. You obviously have the deal with the schedule. Your offense has been anemic. So what are you going to do in 2025? I don't know, man. It's a lot that people really aren't very high on a program like Kentucky, and they shouldn't be. I'm not expecting Kentucky to blow anything out the water. If you make a bowl game by the grace of God, that'd be amazing. But in my opinion, Kentucky is not going to exceed expectations. They're going to continue to fall flat on their face. We'll preview Kentucky in a little bit. But again, guys, I just don't have very high expectations when it comes to a program like Kentucky. I just don't. You can hate that. You can love that. Y'all probably don't care. But it is the truth. And I think people need to realize that. They really do. So that's my thoughts on this. What do you guys think? Again, 225-892-2384, 225-892-2384 is the call-in number if you guys want to join in the show. That's up to y'all. So, excuse me. But I did want to talk about where expectations are for a program like a team like Vanderbilt, guys. I think that's probably going to be the more intriguing. Actually, Florida. Florida, in my opinion, can exceed expectations this year. I have them going 9-3, but don't be surprised if they play spoiler. And let's say they knock off one of the three blue bloods, whether it be Texas, whether it be Georgia in the cocktail party. What if they win one of those two games? What if they beat what did they say? Texas? No. Yeah, I've already said Texas. But let's say they win one of those three games. I don't know if they play Bama this year. No, they do not play Bama. What if they beat one of the big three at LSU, Texas, or Georgia? What does that mean? They finished the season 10-2. I would say they earned a shot in the college football playoff out of those three. Especially with straight seeding now a legitimate thing. Florida could definitely sneak their way into the college football playoff. I really do. Do I think it'll happen? You're going to have to. Your best chance, in my opinion, is if you beat Georgia in the cocktail party. I don't know if Texas will come to Ben Hill Griffin if they'll play their worst game of the year. I don't expect it to happen, but anything is possible at the end of the day. I don't think it will, but with what you have seen from Texas, Arch Manning doesn't have a lot of film. C.J. Baxter's returning from injury. We'll see what the offensive line does. Defense should be good. They did well against a mobile quarterback last year. But the thing about Texas was last year as well is that they weren't able to finish a lot of games. They would do great in the first half, and then they give up some big plays in the third, early in the fourth quarter, and they let their opponent get back in the game. Vanderbilt's a great example. Georgia is a great example. Clemson, Arizona State, Ohio State, all great examples. Can you finish? That is going to be the ultimate question that Texas is going to have to ask themselves at the end of the day. Florida, we'll see what happens with DJ Lagway. We'll see if the injury bug is a big ordeal. I don't know if it will. We'll see what happens with them at the end of the day. DJ Lagway's got to get healthy too. Xavier Lowell Hill says, I'm not sold on Florida at all. They're overrated in my opinion. They're going to get a big win this year, but other than that, I got them at 6-6. Hey, it may be enough to save Napier's job. I mean, they'll keep him around for another year just because of what he's been able to do with recruiting. So that's just my 2 cents, guys. Again, we thank you all for tuning in. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you guys tuning in on what was a great show here on South Carolina Live and SEC Live here at the Voice of College Football. Make sure you do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those bell notifications so that you're notified every time we go live here on either channel. Thank you for tuning in. We didn't have anybody call in. I didn't expect it, to be honest with you, knowing what it was like late in the night today. So it's all good. So make sure you guys have a great rest of the week. Y'all be safe. And as always, stay blessed. Don't stress. Y'all have a good one.